controls, but nothing too substantial that'll make our runners hate this randomizer forever.
Both of them starting out with a really standard opening here into Link's house, and then we're going to go up, see what Uncle gives us. If they find a weapon, it'll be interesting to see if either of them dive into escape early, or if they continue on into the Kakariko route.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I like the Uncle play first. For one, you get this tree pull, which is paying off immediately.
Oh, wow, that was a pull.
And then, yeah, if you get like a substantial weapon for the escape sequence, you can go ahead and do that alongside of it. So this is why I really, really like this play.
Escape's one of those locations that it's difficult to remember to route in if you start getting items in Kakariko and starting to kind of pull you away from the area. So being able to do this right away definitely helps, but doesn't look like we're in the position right there. But thank you, Hollywood, for the sub there too.
Yeah, with those bomb drops, they could actually do some stuff in escape, but you really don't want to waste your bomb supply that early, especially if you can get more substantial weapons later on, like in Kakariko, like you said. And yeah, both opting to stop after the Uncle Cave. Going to go to Sanctuary. Saw a map check. I saw 2 pendants. Green pendant at Hera and blue pendant at Eastern. I did not catch what desert was, though.
Desert looked like it was Crystal 6, so one of the important crystals is there. Looks like both of these runners are actually eschewing checking what's on the Lumberjack, and they're going to go right up into the items that are in the Lost Woods here. Interesting that both of them are skipping that Lumberjack check.
Yeah, I find that a little interesting too. I think intel is very, very important, especially in Randomizer. You always want to know what you're working with. But they will have another time to go by that area if they do go up Death Mountain the vanilla way. But yeah, that's just my personal take on it. I'm sure these runners know what they're doing, so...
And getting plenty of rupees to get things started here. Won't have to do any more tree pulls to go through, so these runners are going to be effectively holding hands getting through Kakariko here.
Yeah, pretty much. Cransoon only has like a second lead at this point, so that's nothing that's going to matter right now. Just a few little things here and there with traversing overworlds, so nothing substantial. We'll probably start seeing little divergences here and there after Kakariko.
And our wonderful tracker, Dude, pointing out in chat, 2 pendants in Light World certainly plays into hype for a possible pedestal seed, which I know chat loves to see.
Yeah, that's right. Especially with what they're getting right now, they're not really getting anything too big. Shield's the only major item they've gotten so far.
This would be disappointing if Kakariko doesn't have anything of value for us.
Yeah, really. Kakariko, there's 2 locations that have 5 chests, so that's 10 items right there. Then you have the bottle vendor, chicken coop, the tavern, race game, and then just a few other things you can also get as well. So very, very high volume location with items.
It's usually why it ends up being the first thing that people end up checking is Kakariko, unless you can route something in close to where you're already at.
Definitely.
Ooh,
hook shots. I think that's a good item to get early on. Hammer too. Wow. Okay.
Hook shot, hammer, and a bottle, so we can go ahead and get our sick kid while we're in Kakariko. That's nice, but man, okay, we already possibly have access to, as soon as we get either the lamp and lift upgrade or the flute, we'll already have access to get up there to Death Mountain and be able to do Tower of Hera, which is the green pendant.
Yeah, that's right. And just in addition to that, just hammer and hookshot is a great combo. Hookshot can stun a lot of enemies and even kill weaker enemies, particularly the mini Moldorms in Mini Moldorm Cave. Hammer does tempered sword damage despite the small hitbox, so 2 very useful tools that we could really see being utilized very effectively early on in this run.
And otherwise, I mean, Kakariko was certainly worth it just for hammer and hookshot, but Otherwise, not a whole lot here, is there?
Not really at all. But you know, like it's always. I think it is good to get those two items specifically because they will come into play at the very end of the game. You definitely need hammer to get through a lot of the dungeons to even get access to them. Hookshot, if you don't know hovering, you're going to need that to even get through Ganon's tower. So, ooh, flute at the race game. They are going to go back for that. But yeah, like those two items, I think it's good to get them early just so you don't have to worry about them later on.
Okay, flute at the race game. We already have hammer and hookshot. Do you just go ahead and go right up to Death Mountain, or do you head to the South Hyrule route? Because that's pointing a giant arrow towards Death Mountain right now.
Yeah, I say go to Death Mountain at this point. This version of the logic really does, I think, pay off if you follow the breadcrumbs, as it's most oftenly known as. So yeah, going straight up there to Death Mountain, I think would be a very good call at this point.
So that's already our access to the Green Pendant Tower of Hera. We know bow and lamp are going to be required to get through Eastern. We don't know what our third pendant is, but chat is starting to talk about that pedestal hype because we're getting all the items just to get to this pendant.
Yeah, when you see pendants early and you can access them early, it's usually a good indication that pedestal could have something. So that very well could come into play. And hope you guys are standing for the Hyrule National Anthem, the swag dunk song.
I'm kneeling. g3rd0 realizing that, oh, he already checked the bottle merchant. g3rd0 actually going to the South Hyrule route. That's interesting. And Cransoon doing the same thing. No route divergence yet.
One possibility is they might be wanting to draw out the lamp just so they have a way to get something in the basement of Tower of Hera if there is anything there. So this is probably a harmless check because you're not exactly like going out of your way and look, there's the moon pearl right there.
What is this seed? Okay, so apparently we're finding all the right items. This is kind of a jet seed at this point in time. All the right items.
Yeah, just gotta find that power glove, and honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we find it in a mini Moldorm cave right here.
You say that, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen now.
I think both. No, we might just see both gloves in here. Actually, that'll be even.
Oh, Cransoon's saving a lot of time playing catch up using bomb strats there. Oh, okay. Just a cave of love.
Cave of love and arrows.
Cupid's cave?
Cupid's cave, yes!
Alright, so g3rd0 also going to go ahead and check this Ice Rod cave. We'll see if it pays off. A little bit of route divergence here. Cransoon going to go ahead and do swordless, lampless old man. This is a little bit more difficult than people think.
It really is. Thankfully, having the hookshot doesn't make it too bad. You can kind of use it to tell where the walls are going to be, and you can still kind of use that to maneuver around. But it definitely takes a little longer. And yeah, g3rd0 only getting the blue boomerang, so Ice Cave didn't really pay off, but you know, you can use boomerang very effectively in Tower of Hera, I think, so I guess it's not too bad of an item to get.
No, and g3rd0 looks like he's going to go ahead and do escape while he's still thinking about it, not necessarily following the breadcrumbs. This could be significant for later.
Yeah, it really could. It's hard to say. Like, sometimes, even if you do follow the breadcrumbs, there are going to be those seeds where it just doesn't really pay off, and especially at the beginning when you have so many things open. Yeah, you might be able to get to Death Mountain, but is there anything on Death Mountain? It's hard to really make that call, so this could just be g3rd0 just kind of being comfortable with this particular routing or something, not wanting to go to Death Mountain yet.
I mean, it's not a play that necessarily I would make, but then again, I'm not in the tournament, so
Yeah, exactly. Same here. So we can only commentate and speculate. That's really all we can do at this point.
and we'll see what Cransoon ends up. He gets the better boomerang, the Redarang.
Yeah, he does.
I don't care what you bloomerang people say. All right, and we'll see. Does he end up getting a half magic? That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not really any progression yet, but he is probably gonna. Yeah, he's gonna do the bomb jump right here. Gonna probably check out Tower of Hera and see if we can maybe get there and hopefully be able to destroy Moldorm as well. Because there is a possibility the big key might not appear in the first two locations.
That would be interesting for Cransoon if he ends up having to go in and then back out. g3rd0 not finding anything in Escape, so we'll see where he ends up going directly after this. Checking the floating island, just a heart piece.
We'll probably also see what is on Spectacle Rock on the top of it anyway.
Yep, he is checking, and just some rupees.
This does make an interesting situation, though. When he's finished with Hera, does he jump down and check the inside of Spectacle Rock, or does he go all the way over to Spiral Cave and get that?
Ooh, I mean, that's a pick your poison sort of scenario. I kind of wish Cransoon would have routed in checking the top earlier. Okay, he's got the big key. That's good for Cransoon there.
One of the worst scenarios I've seen in something like this is there is an item in the basement, but then there's the lamp in Spiral Cave. Because then you have to actually leave Hera, go get the lamp, and then just climb right back up just to check that item.
I mean, at least they're still following the breadcrumbs, though, at that point in time.
Yeah, true. True. Very true.
So we'll see. g3rd0 looks like he's going to go ahead and check that Spectacle Rock Cave first, doing what we had suggested. So good job. And there's the Power Glove. It's
All
so
right.
bad.
It's so bad that it's going to give Cransoon some Dark World access when he's done with this dungeon.
Here's a moment of truth. Is this going to be something? Nope, just some bombs. So here, g3rd0 will now follow the same route that Cransoon did. Cransoon will likely check Escape at some point in time. That's not to say, I mean, he's going to have to route it in eventually, unless he gets incredibly lucky, but...
In the meantime, though, let's see how this Moldorm 1 fight goes. He has a way to attack him. He doesn't have the sword, but the hammer does do some pretty significant damage. It does 3 hits, and yep, Cransoon gets there without falling down, so very nice.
Solid hammered Moldorm, and the Titan's Mitt. What?
Wow! I didn't call this location, but I did kind of call that both gloves were going to be in the same place.
Whoa, okay, so that's significant.
Very significant. Because that does allow Dark Death Mountain, and going over here to Spiral Cave, I do agree with this play now, because then he can, once he finishes Spiral Cave, he can just check the Dark World too, so...
Yeah, I mean, he'll be able to do Super Bunny and then Hookshot Cave, even check to see what exactly is on Turtle Rock. I mean, 5 hearts into the Dark World, so this is going to be kind of a sickly seed at this point in time, but I think these guys will take it.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, thankfully, like, there's still a lot of items to check before then, and they don't necessarily have to start working on Dark World dungeons. But still, yeah, I gotta be careful. Those Dark World enemies hit for a lot of damage.
Well, that's a timely heart piece to get 6 hearts before he gets in there.
Yeah, for sure. And very quickly, going back to what you were saying earlier about Cransoon having to put on Escape later, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've been noticing a lot recently, a lot of runners have started routing in the Escape sequence with the pyramid checks and stuff, which is actually really smart routing because it kind of makes those pyramid and catfish checks a little more rewarding because you have more to check when you go along there. So it might be good if they get mirrors soon so they can actually make that work and we can see that in action.
It is nice when you have mirror to be able to do that. No mirror yet, though, so it won't be something they can check immediately unless I eat my words and there's mirror right away.
Yeah.
So g3rd0 getting ready to get his first lift upgrade, and he'll be pleasantly surprised at the final. There's our map check. Final is Palace of Darkness for that last pendant, and then 5, what looks like it was down in Ice Palace.
That is correct. So we have the rest of our crystals and pendants determined. And I want to say that was Bombos, but I don't. It was a very quick check on the Turtle Rock medallion.
Yeah, it was very quick. Maybe Dude, our tracker, found it? I hope so. Unfortunately, nothing in Hookshot Cave, so Dark Death Mountain didn't really give us a whole lot of anything. Smart play, certainly. Not anything worthwhile, though.
Yeah, and I imagine g3rd0 is probably going to check that as well, especially if you get both gloves right out of the gate. You can just get all that Death Mountain stuff out of the way now, get that check-in for Turtle Rock, and then you can just leave and not come back until you absolutely need to.
Cransoon going ahead and doing Escape. That's something that I didn't stop and think about. And he gets a whole lot of nothing from Escape. This seed effectively gave you all the items to go up to Tower of Hera. If you spent any time not doing that, you would not have any lift upgrades whatsoever. So,
Mm-hmm. And with the way Cransoon has been routing this, having these lift upgrades and a hammer as well, that gets through a lot of roadblocks when you're going and traveling through the overworld. So he's probably feeling pretty good that he has those. The only one that would be really nice now is probably the mirror, because that would also allow the mirror spots in conjunction with all of that. But still, having 3 of the 4, not too shabby.
there's a lot of other overworld locations that Cransoon could be checking right now. Things like Zora. He can check Eastern, which has not only the Sahasrala's garage sale, but also Eastern Palace itself. But he's going to those locations that have unlocked from his recent items, the Power Glove and the Hammer and things like that, hoping that the breadcrumbs are still leading him in that direction.
And he was also able to get the Misery Mire intel as well. We have the Quake medallion required for Misery Mire. So I can understand, even if it was only for 2 items, still, just having that intel is really nice, because you can know what exactly your go mode is going to be, what medallions you need, what items you need, and you can just kind of plan the seed out as you're going through it.
Part of me is curious because Cransoon spent so much. He specifically avoided Lumberjack, which was intel, but now he's routing his decisions right now based on gathering intel. So just kind of an interesting little juxtaposition there.
It is for sure. I definitely understand that. Sword, we have our first sword upgrade 19 minutes in the C-shaped house. I wonder where those other 3 swords are going to be.
They're all going to be in Ganon's tower.
Okay, well, that's good. That's kind of sucks for them, but those are the breaks.
Chat demands it.
And Cransoon opting to do Thieves Town, very good play. He has all the items necessary to full clear this dungeon, and it's a very simple dungeon, not very long, very straightforward, has a lot of items as well. This is why you normally see Thieves Town as one of the first crystal dungeons, just because you don't have a lot of requirements for it, and it's not too hard, so you can just very quickly route it in and get it taken care of.
I think best of all, the boss is fairly well organized to the point where if you practice enough, you can do the boss in one cycle and he won't move. If you get out of that, it becomes a little bit more randomized, but once you have it down, it's pretty well down.
Mm-hmm. On the first half of Thieves Town, we find the bug-catching nets. Not gonna really be of major use right now. Don't exactly have a way to turn anti-fairies into fairies, if these runners even need that safety. But, you know, not a bad safety to have, just in case, I suppose.
Oh, it's the best item. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right, it does allow Swaggin' strats to happen, so...
And Dude, our tracker, also pointing out something very interesting. The only two dungeons that absolutely require the bow are Eastern and Pod. They are both pendant dungeons, so we could see a bow in Ganon's Tower or hidden elsewhere, and we may never find it. This is not a bow-required seed at this point in time.
Yeah, that's the thing about bow. You need it for 3 places. Palace of Darkness, Eastern Palace, and Ganon's Tower. So it's going to be required in every single seed just because of Ganon's Tower. But when you have a seed like this, that bow can be in a lot of places, including the final dungeon. Okay, nothing in the back of Sashrala's house.
Yeah, g3rd0 is still checking those, what has been explained to me as zero sphere locations, those locations that don't require any items to get to them. Interesting to check those while you still can, hoping to find something, but not really bearing any fruit at this point in time. Oh, and chat pointing out, g3rd0 didn't turn in his pendant.
Ooh, that is interesting.
He was literally right there. So if that's something, he could be just kicking himself later.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that check from Cransoon later on. So hopefully for g3rd0, it's nothing that they'll need for this seed. But I've seen a lot of seeds where that has come up with something important. So we'll see.
Particularly when you have access to green pendants so early in the seed, and the seed, everything's just pushing you that direction. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you were kind of talking about like the whole Sphere 0 locations. Just because you get it so early, you gotta kind of think that, well, that's like either like a Sphere 2, Sphere 3 item. And at that point, like that's still a lot of possibilities to be in there. So you just really don't want to miss out on anything like that.
And we see g3rd0 checking his hype cave. We'll see if it's hype or dud. Fire Rod.
Ooh. I say just for the Fire Rod, that is not a dud.
I'll give you that. I mean, it's not hype of hype like it used to be, but I mean, that's a solid B+.
Yeah, and especially with the routing g3rd0 is on right now, he's going to go from south of Link's house and going to go up through Village of Outcasts, clearing out Overworld, and then probably Thieves Town. And then he is going to be able to go to Skull Woods right after that and finish that as well, because he will get that sword in the C-shaped house.
Absolutely. I mean, that's significant for g3rd0 there, and he gets the book as well.
You may even be able to check what pedestal is later.
literacy, also known as the ultimate fetch quest.
Yep.
Cransoon doing the slow peg strats.
Yep, no boots means you have to spend a little extra time knocking down all these pegs.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the American release of the original version of this, you had to do it this way. There was no hammer dash, right?
I believe so. I believe that the hammer dash and the item dash in its general is version 1.0. So yeah, I don't think that's in the American version.
Cransoon taking a more traditional route, going to go down from the south here, check digging game, and probably grab Jeremiah for a world tour here.
First, checking Alec Baldwin's digging game. Just a red rupee. Probably enough to afford a season of 30 Rock on DVD, but that's not going to be leading to any progression right now.
Still an overpriced item, IMO. So here we're seeing kind of an interesting swap places. Gyardo is now going into Thieves. Meanwhile, Cransoon is going to do the South Hyrule World Tour with Jeremiah.
I guess one thing that could help Cransoon out a little bit is when he does kind of finish this and get the Fire Rod, he'll be able to save and quit, go back to Kakariko, let Jeremiah off at his home location, and then he can just go north straight to Skullwoods anyway, and still kind of be on the same track that Gyardo is right now. And he could also potentially check that pedestal now, too.
Yep, he'll be right there. So, I mean, they're both, it's still too close to call. And I know the community is always asking, who's in the lead, who's in the lead? We don't know who's going to be in the lead really until we hit go mode.
That's true, and even then, like, in the last match, like I said earlier, go mode wasn't necessarily the determining factor even then, because Gyardo had one dungeon up on Cransoon, and just because Cransoon hit go mode first is not necessarily an indication either, so you really just don't know with Randomizer until you get to the very, very end.
So we see Jeremiah going home, and everything else in Kakariko is pretty well done at this point in time, except for Batcave and the Village of Outcasts.
Chat actually pointing out that, well, first, okay, art container on the swordsmith. Gyardo did not pick up his fighter sword, so he is going to be having to fight blind with just the hammer.
That's not, I mean, it's not a great thing to do. It's not horrible, but it's certainly not as fun as say, having any sort of sword.
Like these, we mentioned this before. Both runners are very, very good at this. They made it to the top 8 of this tournament. They can definitely fight blind with the hammer, but it does, I think, take a little bit longer just because of the smaller hitbox and kind of setting up the hits in every instance.
So Scarfunkel gave a donation of 1,000 bits with the question, tell a plebe what it makes to go mode. Go mode is when you have every item necessary to complete the game. That means clearing every crystal dungeon and clearing out Ganon's tower to be able to defeat Aghanim. So in this case, go mode will exclude any item that is only for pendants, unless an item that does require go mode is locked behind the pendants. So at this point in time, we know that Eastern and Pod are the other 2 pendants, so Bow and Lamp are the only 2 things that we don't have that are required for those 2 particular locations.
Yeah, Go Mode is just kind of a state of knowing that you can go right through the rest of the game. You don't have to check any more chests because you have every item you need, and you can just go straight to Ganon without having to make any extra pit stops. That's essentially what Go Mode is.
Yeah. It varies from game to game, as is the nature of Randomizer. Go Mode could be having extra swords. Go Mode could be without the ice rod or fire rod, depending on what other items are required. So it varies game to game, and that's why we love Randomizer so much, is that it's the same game, but it's not the same game every time.
That's right. Execution, I would still say, is a big part of it, but routing goes into it too, and there's like a lot of players who may not be the best at execution, but because they have good routing and they know the best ways to go from point A to point B, they can still overturn a victory against odds, which is, I think, fascinating about just the entire randomizer prospect.
So Cransoon actually was able to do that move that you talked about earlier, heading right up into Skull Woods and going to be able to clear it.
Doing a bomb jump to go over to get this chest without going the long way.
So many keys. My goodness.
And we're not even playing Key Sanity. How about that?
I will say that's one of the more annoying things about playing that Key Sanity game is getting all the Skull Woods keys, and you don't need hardly any of them.
Yeah.
So yes, this is the quarterfinal matchup. This is the Elite Eight, Cransoon versus g3rd0. And just a shield for his other item. g3rd0 looks like he's going to be following Cransoon just about immediately. Cransoon, keep in mind, Cransoon hasn't checked to some of the other locations. Specifically, g3rd0 has checked escape where Cransoon has not. So if we ever see Cransoon route that in, while it looks like Cransoon's a little bit ahead right now, that's only because g3rd0's checked some extra locations.
Yeah, g3rd0 has checked escape, or the front half of escape. He's also checked the Sashrala area as well. Did he also go into Eastern?
I don't think he actually went into Eastern because he kind of went in, checked Sahasrara, and then also immediately left without actually turning in his green pendant.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so yeah, they hasn't checked Eastern yet, but he did check some of those other locations.
So Cransoon getting ready with the Mothula fight. With half magic fire rod, this isn't going to be too terribly difficult. Definitely. Although...
Ooh, yeah. Oh, and he does not have that potion anymore either.
Oh, he burned it. What did he burn it on?
Hellway in Thieves' Town.
Well, you better be careful with that magic. Now, the real tough part is that if Mothula, there he gets it.
Ooh.
That was close.
Very, very fancy footwork to navigate away from those spikes. It got really close a few times, so very nice movement in that fight.
And I blinked, and this went from a sickly seed to a healthy seed. I mean, what happened? Did they just get all the heart containers?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, a lot of hearts thrown out here and there, so they're able to get a couple more, thank God. And with Blue Mail, it's going to be a little harder to lose all of them, so I bet they're feeling good about that at the very least.
Oh, absolutely. And, ooh, Bombos.
Ooh, Bombos.
So that's our access to open Turtle Rock. That's got to be a little bit off Cransoon's mind right now, right there. Now, can't really do much because they don't have the Game of Samaria yet, but not bad.
Now, at this point, there is a sequence break they can do to get into Ice Palace and take care of that, because they have all the items to get through it, just not the flippers that would put them in the logic to go there at this point. So, probably won't see that until they get flippers. It's always not best to really go out of the logic too much, because there's a chance that, for example, flippers might be the go mode item. So if you go there early, you'll not get anything, and you'll just have a full clear on your hands.
Yeah, and, you know, it's worth mentioning that, well, first of all, Cransoon ended up picking up Sahasrara, and it's a heart container, so news there. And it's worth mentioning that having watched these two through the tournament, they don't do a ton of those sequence breaks. Fake flippers, unless they're absolutely forced to, unless there's nothing else that they can do. So I don't anticipate them taking the time to go ahead and sequence break to get into Ice Palace, but weirder things have happened. I mean, Cransoon is facing elimination if he loses this match.
Yeah, may want to take a few gambles. It's really a hard call to make whenever you want to kind of break the logic a little bit and do sequence breaks. So you have to be very careful when you're doing that. Cransoon is jumping into Eastern Palace now. He is going to he's not going to be able to clear it unless he gets Bone here. So he's probably just going to try to get all the items or get as much as he can and see if maybe there is some kind of progression here. But we'll see what happens there. And g3rd0 is fluting over to... going back up the Death... Oh, no, not Death Mountain. Going to the Ice Cave over here. Oh, I think he misclicked. Where is he going? Okay, he's actually going into Desert. Okay, here we go. Cransoon did check Sahasrara. He got a full heart container for his trouble. Okay, so from that item acquisition, we do know that Desert Palace is boost locked at this point. I think we already knew that earlier from Cransoon visiting, but yeah, he's not going to be able to finish Desert Palace unless he gets the boots, because the boots will either lead to a small key or a big key on the torch, which you will need both to even get through the rest of this dungeon. To answer another question in chat, who has checked more locations? At this point, I'd say g3rd0 has checked a few more locations. But Cransoon, I think, has checked a little more unique locations. Like, g3rd0 did not go into Eastern Palace, which is where Cransoon is right now. Did you see
that?
I missed it just barely because I was watching to see what was in that chest right there.
Flippers were in Agina's cave.
Okay, there we go. Flippers.
Trich, I see you what you did there. Water dose.
Water dose.
Oh, that's so bad. Oh!
Oh! Cane of Samaria in Eastern Palace. Also, thank you, Sakura Laloy, for subscribing with Twitch Prime. We appreciate it. But Cane of Samaria.
That's pretty big. Cane of Samario means, and I don't know if Cransoon's actually going to do it. He might be going up here to check a couple other locations, but that technically opens up Turtle Rock for him.
It does. Yeah, it really, really does.
So this could come down to a choice. If that's where Cransoon ends up going, Gyardo into Ice Palace, Cransoon to Turtle Rock, who has the better gamble? Ooh, this could be significant here.
It really is. In versions 26 and 27, Turtle Rock has been very, very lucrative. There's been a lot of cases where you've had to double dip Turtle Rock to complete the seed. There's been a lot of cases where Ice Rods in Turtle Rock was what you can do to complete the dungeon. It's just a very lucrative location, so Cransoon is probably thinking at this point that that might actually be a good idea to go here while you have the option to.
Now, it's worth pointing out that in order to get the big key for the big key treasure chest, Cransoon did have to navigate a dark room. So one thing we are not going to find in Turtle Rock is going to be that lamp. It's certainly possible to find the fire rod up here, of course, but this is technically a sequence break at this point in time.
It really is. It definitely is. Gyardo, however, is following the logic at this point with those flippers he obtained from Agina's cave. He is going to be going through Ice Palace, gets the bomb jump very successfully.
Makes me a little bit worried because the flippers, I mean, that was one of those Sphere Zero locations. What else could have been locked behind? We have Hobo, we have Zora that would have been locked behind. I mean, we've had access to Zora for a while now, but even the waterfall fairies, there's a lot of things that those flippers unlock that makes me a little bit worried as to what's in those locations.
Yeah, lamp, like we were talking about earlier, that could be one of the items right there, just because of lamp is one of those items that does block a lot of potential locations just due to the fact that you're supposed to have the lamp by the logic's standards anyway, to get items in those dark locations.
So Cransoon navigating, this is just absolutely interesting. Who's going to find the next required item? I mean, both of these are crystal dungeons. Yeah, okay, Ice Palace is a crystal, so it'll be real interesting to find who gets the biggest return for their gamble.
I think seeing Ice Rod and Turtle Rock would be a huge, huge return here for Cransoon, because even though you know that Turtle Rock is very lucrative in this version of the logic, it's still, at least to our runners are concerned, it's still a gamble to go up here just to check to make sure if it's in there. So they want to probably check other locations before making the journey up to Turtle Rock. So getting that Ice Rod and finishing this dungeon now, I think, would be very, very big for Cransoon.
Oh man, he's sitting at one heart. That's Cransoon's. Oh! Gyardo finding the other medallion, so he just unlocked access to Misery Mire.
Just looking at the items right now, so we still have a ways to go before Go Mode's even a thing, but we still need bow, we still need Ice Rod, we know it's boot locks, so we'll need the boots as well, and the mirror for Swamp Palace. Those are the big items we need, and Cransoon taking a death in Turtle Rock in the,
That Pokey smashing him in the face there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if Gyardo full cleared everything, but I think he got most of the items. I'm not entirely sure, though. I wasn't counting.
I think he did. We had 2 of the medallions, and I think there was another item too, so I think that it is full cleared.
Yeah, so him skipping those other item locations does not matter. As soon as you have the 3, everything else is junk.
Mm-hmm. Cransoon is in a bit better shape now. Just took a lot of damage from those chain chomps during his initial run, so that's why he was such at a low health threshold during that.
Chain chomps do, I think, the most damage other than Ganon Hug. I think it's something like 6 or 7. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Does more damage than most bosses in the game, so... And they can't even be defeated either, so you really have to be careful with those.
Alright, here's g3rd0 checking these locations locked behind the flippers. 10 arrow upgrade.
And they're finally going to be able to spend those rupees that have been burning a hole in their pocket this entire seed. They had 700 by the end of Kakariko, and they've doubled that since then.
Alright, so Cransoon getting ready to... Oh no, he's not going to be able to check Mimic Cave. No mirror.
Ooh, that is unfortunate.
And g3rd0 with the Master Sword pull. So it will be interesting to see if g3rd0 ends up finding anything. He did find Quake, which is absolutely required to get into Misery Mire. So right now, of the 2 gambles, g3rd0 is coming out ahead. Okay. That is significant because that technically means everything in Laser Bridge is within logic. You need some sort of invincibility item or the mirror shield in order for that to be in logic. Granted, still no lamp, so it's not.
And we are seeing the effects of no lamp right now. Very quickly, Zora did have a blue rupee, so not a good investment for all those rupees, but thankfully they still have a lot at their disposal. And yeah, without the lamp, you can't see anything in that room. I wouldn't say it's the hardest dark room. There's some other dark rooms that I think are more difficult than the Turtle Rock one, but if you don't know that path to the switch and then the door, it can be really, really rough.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Cransoon, that death is so bad.
It is. Ooh.
He was on his way down to the safety and got hit with a full heart and knocked in. That's rough.
It is, and he is going to keep on going. I do respect the play of keeping going, because if there is something on that laser bridge, then he's going to know that later, oh, I shouldn't have left, I should have kept going. So it's kind of good to see your gambles out, especially if you go this far. If you go halfway through Turtle Rock, you may as well look at what the rest of the dungeon has, even if it doesn't have your item.
Yeah, this is one of those points where if you're already in this far, you don't want to back out right now. You've not found anything. It's kind of a sunk cost fallacy, but if you're already making the gamble, just go for it.
Definitely. Yeah, and making a very good point. If he still does get an item, it's still going to be a huge advantage. So it could definitely still pay off even with those 2 deaths.
So he gets his save point right there. Going to do what he can to just bypass this guy. Boots!
Boots! Oh my gosh!
And Ice Rod!
Oh my gosh!
What is this scene? Oh my goodness! And he takes his death. I don't think he cares after that.
No, yeah, that's got to be... Okay, there we go.
And to be in a bottle, Vitor. I think that, that's significant there for Cransoon. I think he's shaking a little bit.
Yeah, and he still has one major hurdle left in this dungeon. He still has to take on the boss, and with Fighter Sword, Trinex can be pretty rough with just the Fighter Sword. But he has the items. He can do it. I'm sure he can. But it's going to be a pretty rough fight.
Fighter Sword, 5.5 heart, 6.5 hearts. Yeah, it's going to be not easy, but he can do it.
Let me just say, this is miles different from what they had to do in the last seed. The last seed, they had Butter Sword at this point for Trinex. So a much different fight if you watch the previous race.
All right, looks like Cransoon's holding his own. Trinex is bobbing and weaving. Oh no! Oh no, he's out of magic. Oh, okay.
He got it. Okay. Oh my gosh.
That would have been devastating.
Now he just needs to get the second phase under control.
Hammer Strat's doing what he can. There it is. Wow, what a Trinex fight. Had us all on the edge of our seats.
Also, I don't think we can be too blamed for this because we were just watching.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
What? What is this Turtle Rock?
G3rd0 got the lamp, by the way, but oh my god.
Where was the lamp? That's still important, but I think I need to give G3rd0 a due.
I kept trying to bring it up, but we just kept finding stuff. We had the Trinex fight, then Mirror popped up. Purple chest is where the lamp was.
Okay, you know what? I'm fine with that. Whatever. I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
think about this gamble. Not only was Ice Rod the thing he needed to beat that boss in Turtle Rock, but also, the mirror, which was great. He had to get the cape in Turtle Rock to be able to sequence the laser bridge in with it, and boots. What?
I know, that's 4 items. 4 of the 5 Turtle Rock items. That's insane.
About the only thing I wish that Cransoon would do, because he's right here, is check that Mimic Cave.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, with the Mirror on Trinex, that would be like the ultimate troll to have something in Mimic Cave there, because as soon as you finish Trinex, you get taken to the very front entrance, not the entrance you entered from, so it does kind of put you away from Mimic Cave again, and Cransoon is opting not to go there. But, honestly, would there really be a 5th item there? It's Randomizer, it can happen, but,
Oh my goodness. I don't think we can overstate how important that gamble was for Cransoon, because I agree with Chat. I think it's a long time before G3rd0 makes that chance to go up there. He doesn't have any other invincibility items for Laser Bridge. He doesn't have Cane of Samaria, but he's getting ready to get it. He won't have Ice Rod, which a lot of people try to clear everything out and save Turtle Rock for last to save that time with that second climb up Death Mountain. So I really think it's going to be a long time before g3rd0 heads up there. If not, good for him. I mean, that'll be great. But Cransoon, with that gamble, I think saved this run.
Yeah, for sure. And just going in with Fighter Sword and then dying twice on the way up, then just coming out of that gamble with a huge win is just very, very important, especially after just, not winning the first match. Cransoon is down a win right now, so he needs this to actually stay in the tournament. So that was very, very important. We cannot overstate that at all.
Scarfunkel asked, Bow pedestal hype? Absolutely not.
Nope, no Bow on pedestal. Not with those 2 pendant dungeons.
Yeah. So let's see here. We need the only items that we don't know where they're at. That's it. We need the bow eventually, but we're in no mode.
Yeah, pedestal pretty much dead at this point, I'd say. Because, yeah, we know where all the other items are they need.
Yep, except the only thing we don't know where it's at is bow, and
right.
I'm really hoping for that Mimic Cave, because it would be the trolliest thing ever.
Answer question in chat. The flippers are in Agonas Cave, which Cransoon might check right after this. Hopefully he does.
Meanwhile, g3rd0 making the Misery Mire play. I mean, it's not a bad play, but
yeah, we know that the items that will progress this for him are not going to be in here.
And you pointed this out earlier, and I think I made a mistake, so thank you for correcting me. Bow is going to be required because it's absolutely required to get through Ganon's tower. So even though we don't need it to clear out any dungeons, they're going to still check pretty well everything just to make sure that they find that bow.
And if anything, getting bow as a go mode item I think would be good, because if they get bow early, that will put both Eastern Palace and Pod back on the table for items. Like, we know where all the items are going to be, but our runners don't necessarily know that, so we want them to stay away from those pendant dungeons if you want them to finish with a good time.
Hey, shout out to one of our other top 8s in chat, Amazing Ampharos, sitting in chat, wondering what the heck is going to happen here. AA winning his match against Gem, so if g3rd0 ends up winning, he will move on to face Amazing Ampharos doing it. Meanwhile, if Cransoon ends up winning, they will force a Game 3 later. So shout out to AA in chat. I knew you had it in you, buddy. I picked you.
Yeah, all these runners are so good. They're even going to watch their opponents' matches or potential opponents' matches just to get a feel for how they play and what kind of gambles they make. So it's another way that they can kind of train for their upcoming matches.
When you're at this stage, when you're in the top 8, and practicing as much as these guys do, the little things really make the difference. If you can size up your opponent, figure out when they have their preferred methods, their preferred routing, and that, for example, someone prefers crystal dungeons over pendant dungeons, then you can change your routing to prefer the opposite, so that any gambles you make are just exponentially impactful.
Definitely. Cransoon is going to be checking Ice Palace first, especially now that he has those slippers. I think he's going to also check some of the Lake Hylia and Zora items as well. But first, going straight to Ice Palace.
That's interesting, doing Ice Palace right from the get-go.
I don't think I think it's actually a really good play, considering what he found in Turtle Rock because he had to do a sequence break to get through Turtle Rock because he did not have the lamp. So lamp is still in the logic somewhere. So what he's kind of thinking is, as far as Swamp Palace and the rest of Desert Palace, although he went ahead and cleared that, because he doesn't have the lamp yet, technically Trinex would not have been in the logic just yet. So Ice Palace would have been. So he's doing Ice Palace first, seeing if he can uncover some other items before he makes the gamble on Swamp, because there's a potential that Swamp might be go moded.
Go mode, Swamp, and Ice are two very, very quick dungeons if you can manage to get past that. Now, as you'll recall, we were able to see Gyarados make pretty quick work of Ice Palace because he found all 3 items relatively quickly. We'll see if Cransoon actually follows that and is keeping track of his items.
Now, honestly, at this point, there's a possibility we're not even going to see Cransoon pick up the lamp, I think. Purple Chest is kind of a blip on the radar right now, and there's a lot of other locations with more items available, so this could be a lampless seed for Cransoon, as far as we know.
Well, I mean, it could be. I do know that those Misery Mire rooms are not easy if you're going to try to go lampless, so it'll be interesting.
True.
Tries that. So Gyarados, I'm not going to say struggling because Vitreous without bow in any capacity is a little bit difficult. He also doesn't have any invincibility items and just Master Sword, so he did not have the easiest Vitreous fight, but looks like he's going to manage.
Yeah, for sure. Hammer does tempered sword damage, as we've already discussed, so yeah, that's probably the most effective way to get that damage down. Cransoon picks up the Quake Medallion. He has access to Misery Mire now. And as Chad is pointing out, yes, Cransoon, if he does not get that Master Sword, he could have probably even a rougher fight. So he better go check that waterfall before he heads over there.
I don't know if he's going to. It looks like he's on his way. Oh no, Cransoon.
Oh, if he really is doing this, he might be banking that the bow is in Ganon's tower at this point.
Well, you gotta... Cransoon is playing like he's behind right at the moment, which is really kind
True.
of interesting. He's making a lot of gambles. We know he's down 1 match against Gyarados, and this is a must-win for him, but he's playing like he feels he's behind even in this match by itself.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
And that's a nice cold stare fight using the ice rod there. And it looks like Gyarados is actually going up to Turtle Rock.
The advantages Gyarados is going to have in Turtle Rock compared to Cransoon is, for one, he has the lamp he can see in that dark room, and 2, he does have the Master Sword, which will be slightly easier Trinex fight, slightly faster Trinex fight, but he's probably still going to use Hammer anyway. But he has the same amount of health and the same defense that Cransoon had, so he's still going to have to be careful when he does go through there.
Oh, I think Gyarados is going to check not only the Ether Tablet, but also going to check, was there still an item left in Tower of Hera in the basement?
I believe so.
Cransoon.
No. Both gloves are in Hera.
That's right. That's right. Cransoon is making the Swamp Palace play, though.
He is. He is going through. He's playing this like he's in go mode, which not in Go mode because he still needs the bow for Ganon's Tower. But again, he might be banking that it's in Ganon's Tower.
I think that's a risk that he's wanting to take at this point in time. This could be like the point. I don't know what the percentages is, but it's a very low, like less than 1% chance where the bow could be in the big chest in Ganon's Tower. How often do we see that one opened?
Not very often. And chat pointing out, yeah, dungeons are definitely weighted pretty highly in these versions of the logic for sure. But there is also another dungeon that is still available that neither runner has gone in yet. So there could even be a bow in Palace of Darkness for all we know.
Yeah, and that was one of the significant changes between version 26 and version 27. Keep in mind, prior to this latest version, between I think it was group stages for this particular tournament, if you did not have bow, it was unlikely to be in Palace of Darkness because of how the logic worked with those rooms being bow locked there. With some of the updated logic that we do have, the bow can be further into Palace of Darkness depending on what keys you get. So it makes the Palace of Darkness gamble a little bit more palatable if you do not have the bow.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And chat is also right. Cransoon will also need another sword as well. Fighter sword, you cannot do anything against Ganon, so he's going to probably be on the lookout for one of those as well. Is going out of his way to kind of check these chests that aren't too far off the beaten path, getting Bottle of Green Goo for his trouble. We'll see a lot of that in Ganon's Tower, obviously, but probably even in Misery Mire, we'll see him as he's looking for the big key, also being on the lookout for other treasure chests as well.
And another B, so Bottled Water Palace.
Bottled Water Palace, yeah.
Quick, call us Pepsi. We will do an Aquafina sponsorship. And we have Scarfunkel with a 1,500-bit donation. Thank you so much. If you could pick one item, which is most important, what item would that be? I think from a logic perspective, the hammer locks most items. Absolutely. So the hammer would be most important in terms of logically, I would say. Would you say?
Yeah, I'd honestly go the hammer as well. We've mentioned before, it does tempered sword damage, so if you're in a sword-starved seed, yeah, that really comes into play against a lot of the bosses. So hammer, very, very vital. It unlocks many of the dungeons, whether it's the entrance or just sections in the dungeon. So very, very, very important item to have.
Cransoon getting into swamp, trying to get this couple hits off at a time. Not quite doing it, but he does get the kill.
That is crystal number 6 for him. He just has Misery Mire left. As we know for g3rd0, he's going to have to, once he finishes Turtle Rock, he still has to go back down for Desert Palace and Swamp Palace. But that bow is still a huge question mark for both runners. That is the one item we have not seen yet that they will need to finish the seed.
Yep, and we know g3rd0 got one of his swords from the Waterfall Fairy, which is, it wasn't in Swamp Palace or Ice Palace, it was in the Waterfall Fairy. So I doubt if Cransoon will do that. He's spending some of his money on bottles. Keep in mind, he has so much money, he still has not seen Zora.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that Cransoon is gambling and gambling hard right now.
With an opponent like g3rd0, I am not surprised that he's making these gambles for sure.
And picking up bombs. Wow. He's stocking up beforehand. Oh, he might be doing... I think that Cransoon is planning on doing bomb strats on Vitreous. I'm excited to see this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for Vitreous, you have to use spin slashes with Fighter Sword in order to do damage to the little eyeballs, so really, really hard to get in those spin slashes. It takes a long time, so bombs is probably the most effective item at this stage. And Gyarados is about to find 2 of the items that he needs to finish this dungeon and get into finish another dungeon.
You think he's happy to see that, or maybe kicking himself that he didn't go in here sooner?
I don't know. It's a hard call to make because he has been clearing dungeons along the way. There might be a small part of him that is thinking he's a little bit ahead right now, just because he has gone from dungeon to dungeon without really doing any double dipping of any kind.
I mean, keep in mind, we're at an hour and 10 minutes. You know, we've seen seeds where you've only gotten 1 dungeon done up to this point in time, 1, maybe 2, and Cransoon's in his final dungeon.
That's true. Like, yeah, it's a hard thing to say, but again, I'm just going by like what we've seen from Gyarados. He has been going straight through dungeons, and you know, he's a little more equipped for Trinex than what Cransoon was. So he probably feels more confident about this play than what Cransoon did about like 30 minutes ago when he was here. So that's the perspective I'm looking at anyway.
So we see Cransoon now going through here. I imagine that Cransoon's going to get the 2 items that are required here and then just go ahead and finish it. Question in chat, have they from Retzors, have they dipped into EP or pod at all? I don't think we've gone into pod even once. Neither runner has gone into pod. We have seen an Eastern Palace dip because King of Samaria was in the big chest.
Mm-hmm. Gyarados using Cave Strats at the very end of that Trinex fight. Don't blame him.
No,
you have that
not
cape, use it. And there he goes. He has his mirror. He's really, really liking this play that he made, I'm pretty sure.
He's feeling pretty confident right now. He thinks, that he's effectively in go mode. I mean, other than the bow, which very well could be in Ganon's Tower. And he is also issuing Mimic Cave. That's, if bow's in Mimic Cave, I am going to laugh long and heartily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that will definitely, I think, be the biggest troll. And that's coming from just what we know was in Turtle Rock. That is the big troll, if that happens.
All right, instead we see Gyarados going over to Spike Cave. We know there's not a whole lot here, and Cransoon going up to Vidi. Of course, amazing Ampharos, hoping to jinx his future opponent, no matter who it may be. You mean Mushroom in Mimic Cave, which leads to the bow? No, which leads to the shovel, which leads to the bow.
Yeah, gotta include all of the fetch quest items. In fact, may as well put the powder in there too.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah, include all the fetch quests. Answer question in chat. Yeah, Cransoon never got the lamp, and we are seeing actually not doing too bad. He honestly have already made it through what I think is the toughest part of the Mire Dark Room. It's just finding that one switch to lay the Canis Maria block on. That is, I think, the hardest part of this section.
Oh, absolutely. I think in the rest of it, you have something to guide you while you're going through Lampless, but he's through now. That is impressive. It's about the cleanest Lampless Mire I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing these bomb strats. We saw Cransoon take some time out and buy a lot of bombs specifically for this reason. Oh, this makes my heart warm.
And as you can see, no pun intended because it's vitreous, but it takes a lot of bombs to actually destroy one eyeball, so it's taking
Oh,
quite
he's
a
got to
bit.
be careful now, too. Okay, using a potion.
Okay, resorting to spins for the rest of the fight.
Spin fighter sword. Wow.
There we go, we're at the hammer part.
Do you think he's happy about doing this?
Oh no, definitely not. When you know how fast vitreous goes down with the bow, it's never fun doing something like this.
It's been so long since I've even done vitreous without silvers. I would just have a headache doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 7 crystals. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Cransoon is about to head up to Ganon's Tower.
Let's see where we flute before we start announcing this.
That's fair. We won't jump the gun too much. But I think chat has already jumped it, so it's like we
Okay.
have some people who have seen this before.
Yeah, there are 22 item locations in Ganon's Tower that could have the big key to access the top of the tower. As the chat, you are guessing what numbered location you think that big key is going to be in. If you are subscribed to any of the Speed Gaming channels, or if you've donated at least 250 bits to the channel, you will be entered into a leaderboard for if you get the correct guess or being the closest to the correct guess. So yeah, go ahead and get those answers in. It'll stop once we kind of enter the Ganon's Tower section.
So Slim, what's going to be your guess here?
I am obligated by the rando gods to always pick chest number 8.
Obligated, huh?
Yeah. Mostly by memes involved with me and my group of friends, but yeah, I have to always pick 8.
That's fair. I think I'm going to go with I'm going to say this is going to troll us. It's going to be an early big key, like number 4. But the bow is going to be in like the big treasure chest or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we will probably be seeing a lot more of GT, even though normally once you get that big key, you want to go straight to the top and finish, but I can honestly see Cransoon checking a lot more chests for not just the bow, but also for a better sword upgrade too.
Hey, shout out to Scarfunkel. Thank you. We love you so much. Thank you for the bit donation. So we're gonna see Cransoon here. This could be one of those odd powder.
Uh-oh, yep.
Oh yeah, I don't have a key. So g3rd0 definitely in better position right now because he actually has the sword. So Cransoon is hoping for a sword and the bow and the big key. So he's got 3 items he's got to hunt.
Yeah, that's right. That's the risk he's taking by going in that go mode mindset for those last 2 dungeons. Because now he will have to check out some of these other locations.
And g3rd0 did get tempered. Uh-oh, that means there's only one sword possibility here for Cransoon.
Oof.
That is all sorts of not good for Cransoon.
And like, even if he does find a sword in here, Tempered Sword Ganon is so much faster than Master Sword Ganon, especially when you're doing it silverless, like our runners might actually have to do.
Yeah, it's 24 spins versus 12 swings, which is the primary difference there. So it's a significant gap between the two. This is not good for Cransoon because g3rd0 is not that far behind. He's got this dungeon, and that's it.
And it's kind of funny that this scenario actually happened, because I believe the last time I commentated with you, the match was determined by just a sword difference in the final Ganon battle.
It might have been. It might have been. Wow. All right, so here's the rando room. I know Cransoon's hoping for a miracle here. There's the bow.
He has the bow. Oh, but that is...
Okay, that's one. That's one.
Yeah. That is kind of bad, because g3rd0 is going to go pretty deep into Ganon's tower to look for the big key. So he's going to get that bow, and he's going to be in go mode at that point.
The only thing that could save Cransoon is if g3rd0 is checking more overworld locations.
True, that can
to
still
get
happen.
to the bow beforehand. So Cransoon has to have not only a sword, but also the big key as well. There's the big key. Uh-oh. Yeah, and he knows he's got to have a sword.
Oh man, this is going to be so close if he does find a sword.
If he finds a sword, or imagine this, if he finds silvers.
That would be nice.
Cransoon making quick work of Ice Armos. Here's another key. Arrows and rupees. Uh-oh.
He's going right side. He is going to check the 4 chests in the compass room.
Well, when you're here, you might as well.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little bit of time to get there. Otherwise, he's going to have to... Okay, if you're Cransoon, do you full gamble it? Do you just keep on going?
I wouldn't check tile room in this case.
No, but there's a few other treasure chests as you're climbing.
As you're climbing, yes, I wouldn't check those. I'm not too far out of the way to get those. Oh, and g3rd0 is checking Bombo's tablet here.
So if g3rd0 ends up finding the last sword in his exploits, we know Cransoon is sunk.
Okay, so from what we know, one of the swords is in Waterfall Fair, the other one was in Swamp, right?
Yeah, the other one was in Swamp, and Cransoon's just going to go for it.
Okay. g3rd0 is still checking some overworld, because at this point, g3rd0 is just looking for the bow. We know where the bow is. It's in Ganon's tower. So once he makes the play on Ganon's tower, he's essentially going to be going straight to the end. Cransoon, there is still some hope for him. If he gets out of Ganon's tower, and if he checks the right overworld locations, he can still be in the lead. I mean, he's in the lead now, but... Man, it's such a close race.
Yeah, this is just insane right now. And we see g3rd0's even going to purchase some bombs. He's going to buy the big bomb. So he's going to check Pyramid Fairy here.
Yeah, it may not look close right now, but it is really close just knowing the circumstances of this race.
Man, I cannot even fathom doing Ganon's Tower with Fighter Sword.
No, I can't either. Seriously can't.
I mean, he's making good use of his bow. I'll give him that. He is doing his best to get through here, going through with relatively little damage. What did g3rd0 have in Pyramid Fair?
Just a red rupee and a bomb capacity, I believe.
Okay, so that's good news for him. Cransoon now finishing up that portion of the gauntlet, coming to Land Molus. And this absolutely says something significant about Cransoon and the gambles he is willing to take. I mean, I don't know if I've seen anyone go this deep into Ganon's Tower with just Fighter Sword, hoping beyond all hope.
Oh my gosh, g3rd0 has Butter Sword now.
So we know there's no sword. We know there's no sword.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like, definitely what you said. Like, he's willing to make these tough gambles. He gambled on Turtle Rock very early when he had not all the items to complete it, and even sequence broke the lampless section. So he was willing to do that. He's willing to go up Ganon's Tower with just Fighter Sword. That's, yeah, he's gonna do whatever he can do to win. That's very admirable an opponent, I must say.
That is just, I'm just losing my mind here as to what Cransoon is doing. He is making all the gambles. So far they've paid off, but we know there's no sword here, so he's going to have to spend some time after Aga going ahead and maybe hunting a little bit.
Yeah, because Cransoon's just going to look for one sword upgrade after this. I imagine, like, even though Master Sword Ganon Silverless is rough, at this point, you got to go for it, I imagine. This is around the same time they finished the last seed. So he's not going to want to take any chances about looking for another sword after he finds that first one.
And again, we still haven't found silvers yet. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm. At this point, silvers are probably in Palace of Darkness, I imagine, because that area is still untapped at this point.
I mean, you're not saying Mimic Cave? What?
That's true. Mimic Cave is still open as well. I didn't even think about that.
Okay, just a heart piece and validation chest. So Cransoon is going into Aga 2 with Fighter Sword. My goodness.
Yeah, very nice Moldorm with just the equipment he has, by the way. Very nice Moldorm.
g3rd0 still searching. We know where you have to go, g3rd0. Man, that was about the worst placement Aga's could possibly be.
Yeah, at least he got one hit out of that placement, and this should be a good one right here. Still only one, though.
Now, one thing worth noting, g3rd0 does have a win, so if he loses, he is not out of it. So he's checking all of these overworld locations, playing it safe, because that's the smarter thing for him to do right now. He can afford to lose this match, so he can afford to play it safe.
Mm-hmm. Cransoon, on the other hand, he knows he has to gamble. So it's kind of cool that we've kind of seen like both of those kind of come into play a little bit, and it's actually kind of making the story of this race. g3rd0 not taking the gamble to go where he needs to go, and Cransoon just doing everything, but still missing one very important item out of this. Okay,
so we know where the other three sword locations are. They're going to be in Swamp Palace, in Purple Treasure Box, and in... where's that third one? In King's Tomb?
Not Purple Chest, that's Lamp. Waterfall Ferry, Swamp, and King's Tomb. Yeah.
And Cransoon thinking, oh yeah, I didn't do escape. Escape!
Ooh. And Gyardo is going up to Ganon's tower now. So I think
this
he's
is
finally...
not good for Cransoon.
I'm wondering, since he is doing escape, he has the back half of escape covered already, but maybe that'll kind of put him in the mindset of knowing, well, okay, what's close to back of escape? Well, there's also King's Tomb. That might be the sword he gets.
I mean, it's kind of close if he can do if he saves quits and does Sanctuary just for some close locations, because he has no idea. These swords could be literally anywhere. And he doesn't have silvers yet either, so advantage Gyardo at this point in time. My God.
Chat pointing out, escape after Ganon's tower is certainly something I've never seen before. Honestly, I can't say I've seen this before either.
Ladies and gentlemen, Randomizer, where we have no idea what we're doing. The plot makes no sense anymore.
Randomizer, where Eastern Palace is sometimes the last dungeon you do.
Oh no, in Cransoon, he's gonna do Dark Escape because he still doesn't have the lamp.
Yeah, he doesn't have the lamp yet either.
What do you think is going through Cransoon's mind right now when you don't see a dot done, but you're hunting
Where's
for
his sword? Where's his sword? Lamp was in the purple chest, chat, so I imagine that's going to be one of the last things he checks. I imagine he'll probably find the sword before Lamp.
He's going, where is it?
Yeah.
So he is going to be running around going to do whatever he can to get the most efficient locations possible. I don't like this. It looks like he's going up. Where's he going? Are you going to King's Tomb? Please go to King's Tomb. No, he's going to Catfish.
But if he mirrors at Catfish, he'll go into Waterfall Ferry, which is where the other one is.
So that's good.
This isn't too bad. He'll be in the Ganon fight probably around the time Gyardo finds the bow.
Man, this is going to be a very, very close fight. I mean, so Gyardo, yeah.
Yep,
there's the mirror. Yeah. Okay, this is going to be good for Cransoon.
So can Cransoon do Master Sword Silverus Ganon in the time that Gyardo can find the big key and get up all of Ganon's tower? I think Cransoon has the advantage. It's a long fight, but if he doesn't fall, he should be locked.
Versus Butter? Oh man.
I mean, Gyarado's going to make a lot of distance here for sure.
Okay, it's going to be close no matter what. This is just absolutely insane.
Oh my gosh.
Cransoon playing for his tournament life here with Master Sword. Had to go hunt for a Master Sword afterwards. Oh my goodness. Everyone give Cransoon your love because I need him to win.
I would not say the Master Sword fight takes 10 minutes, but it does take a really long time.
It takes quite a bit. Now, Cransoon has had some very solid fights. So, I think he's done quite a bit of practicing at this point in time.
Interesting, actually, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, interesting. Whoa!
Gyardo skip big key.
Yeah, he does. Why is he...
No, he
skipped
He did not get Bob's chest.
Oh my gosh.
That could be game.
Yeah. I thought he got it, and I thought he was like maybe like checking a few chests for maybe silvers, but no, he actually missed it. Oh my gosh.
That is unbelievable.
Did he accidentally just like blow a hole in the floor before, or did he just
I'm not
like...
entirely sure. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the VOD to see exactly what he did.
Okay, yeah, Chad's saying he didn't skip it on purpose. I imagine, like, for a case like that, yeah.
All right, we see Cransoon moving on to his final location, so he's gonna start his horrible spin count. Let's see, where were the silvers?
Pod.
Light World. Mimic Cave!
Oh
Totally
my
Mimic
gosh.
Cave.
Yeah, like, I can't think... Yeah, it wasn't Sashrala. It could have been on... Was there ever a pedestal check? It could have been on pedestal, too, I guess.
No, there wasn't a pedestal check ever. We'll see. Cransoon out of potions as well, so he's at 4.5 hearts. Doing good work so far. Almost out of magic. Oh my god, he's so far out of magic. Does he? Oh no. Oh, he's got a blue. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't think we've seen Dig Spot either, so... That just means Shovel was in Mimic Cave, and then...
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see, chat, yeah, to make Silverless work, you have to do a spin slash at just the last opportunity before he vanishes, because at that point, he will be vulnerable, and he won't be stunned, which normally you'd hit him with just a normal sword strike, then you would use silver arrows to damage him. But there is like a few frames where you can just hit him right before he vanishes, and that's what Cransoon's doing right now to get these hits in.
Cransoon doing very well for Master Sword Silverless. You think he's practiced this once or twice?
I'm sure he has. I'm sure that all the runners in this tournament have done this at least a few times at this point. Chat also pointed out that, yeah, Cransoon doesn't have the lamp either. And there it is!
My god, GG Cransoon, yeah!
Yeah, major GGs for that run. Just all those gambles he took, and then just closing it out with that kind of fight. It's just great. And we're going to Game 3.
We are going to Game 3, and he hasn't done yet. I think he's still shaking a little bit. So, Cransoon, you're gonna done? I mean, come on, Cransoon.
Yeah, we are gonna need that done.
That's a little bit discouraging here. Cransoon gambling on the done. He's gambled on everything else.
We do see the finish, but I still think he does need that.
Officially, according to SRL rules, yes, we need the done. g3rd0 still climbing Ganon's tower. And he finally went back and got it. Oh my goodness.
Oh, apparently we were removed from IRC.
Oh, that would do it.
Yeah, so I think that's why we don't see it. And it's actually not letting me connect again, so...
Oh, well, that'll do it. Let's see if we can get Cransoon in here.
Yeah. And thank you to the dude. Cransoon's official SRL time is 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 3 seconds. Again, GG.
Man, that was intense.
It was, yeah. And at this point, it was honestly just those overworld checks that g3rd0 had at the end there, because g3rd0's almost at the Aghanim 2 fight here. He made up a lot of distance, just in how long that fight takes.
And his Ganon fight is going to be significantly faster with Buttersword there.
Yeah, all the phases will take less time, except the third phase. That's always consistently 4 hits. But then the final phase, much faster. I believe it's only 12 hits as opposed to the 24 that Cransoon had to do. So yeah, he'll be getting through that a lot quicker.
And here we welcome the madman, Cransoon.
Hello.
Okay, very quickly, I need this week's lottery numbers. Do you have any picked
Right.
out? Or...
Oh my god, dude, that run was really dumb. That was really stupid. Like, I don't know. Oh my gosh. I don't even, I can't even put together words about how I feel on that run. Jesus.
Okay, the gambles that you took, I mean, first of all, you go-moded like half the dungeons when you still needed a sword.
I needed a sword and bow. And I was like, you know what? Hey, even though I hate gambling most of the time, and let's face it, I died in TR twice. I lost 5 minutes there. I probably am insanely behind. I've literally never beat g3rd0 in any race whatsoever, ever. Whether it's a one-on-one, a small race, a weekly, I've never beat him. And I know he likes to play safe. And so I was like, whatever, let's do it for the people. Let's do it for chat. Let's do it and live up to my name as the gambling god and just gamble my entire life away. And I did, and it worked, and I don't think I'm ever gonna do that again because it'll never work again.
I gotta tell you, how hype was that Turtle Rock?
It would have been really hype, but the deaths had me so insanely angry. I literally, I say this without, hyperbole, I could not see straight. I was so mad because of all of the deaths in TR. And so when I found all this stuff, I was just like, yeah, of course it's there. Of course there's everything there. I bet g3rd0 did this 10 minutes ago because he didn't die or something. And so that was why, that was the kind of mental state I was in and the kind of mentality I had. So when I found Quake and Ice, you could see me just hesitate, and I was just like, nope, let's go, let's just do it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Pod and Eastern are both pendants, so Bo could be there. 22 items, freaking something, a sword could be in GT. Oh my god.
So we will tell you that you found the sword at Waterfall Ferry. g3rd0 just finished with Butter Sword. The other two, one was in Swamp Palace that you co-moded and said, nah, I'm done.
Was it Left Side Swamp?
First chest, I believe.
Dang it! I was thinking about it. I was thinking about whether or not I should do that.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And the other one was in King's Tomb.
King's Tomb. Okay, my general plan was I was going towards item density, so if I didn't find anything in Waterfall Ferry, I was going to, or at Zora, I was going to save and quit to Sanctuary, check King's Tomb, and whatever the other one is, Bonk Rocks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. That was.
Yeah, that was the chat was just loving it. Like the chat was enjoying this entire race. When you said you were trying to go for it for chat, you succeeded, I think, in all the right ways. Everyone was just on the edge of their seats, just seeing what you were gonna gamble on next, where these swords were, when you were gonna find the sword. Just like it was very fun to watch.
And I mean, I even skipped Tile Room, and I didn't think about it until I was upstairs. But I also skipped Big Chest in GT, which I could have checked. But I was just so like out of it. I don't know. And that's also the first time I've done Master Sword Silverless in probably multiple months, so that was kind of sketch, but it happened.
And here we have g3rd0. GG, sir.
GG.
GG.
So you're going to have to go back and watch the VOD because Cransoon gambled his life away.
Yeah, I tried to play way too safe. Like I really didn't want to go to GT and don't find a bow there. So I checked most things I could have checked. Cool.
Yeah, Cransoon made it like you guys were pretty well neck and neck for most of it. Right as you, g3rd0, went to Ice Palace is when he went to Turtle Rock, and that's when things just he got quite a bit ahead, but then he didn't have a sword. Like he had fighter sword up until Ganon and had to take time to go find another sword.
Yeah, I got really lucky with the sword locations not being like the fact that there was the sword in Waterfall Fairy or on the overworld at all. Cuz yeah, I ended up when I did TR, what was it? Then I did desert. After I did desert, I think what did I find there? I don't even remember. I found desert, I did Ice Palace, found Quake, and just go moded everything else. I just go moded Swamp and Mire and just went into GT with Fighter Sword and no bow.
It was kind of ridiculous. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you made all the, I'm not going to call them wrong plays. They were very safe plays. I think you will agree with that. Until, you skipped Bob's chest.
Yeah, that was an accident. I just forgot that I had to check it, but yeah, it didn't make a difference in the end anyway, so whatever.
So we're going to get a Game 3 Cransoon v g3rd0. I think you guys have already scheduled that too, haven't you?
Actually, we haven't.
I don't think we have. To be total, if I'm going to be totally straight up, I was expecting to get 2-0'd, so that's why I was like, we'll schedule it if we need it. So...
You cannot do that, sir. I'm like the only one who believes in you. I have you winning the championship. I need you. No pressure. You're not the only one who can gamble.
Yeah. If anything, you not scheduling your third match, that was the only unsuccessful gamble that you had to take.
Oh my gosh.
But very quickly, even going back to that Turtle Rock play, like you even went to Turtle Rock without the lamp, and you never had the lamp for the entire run. It was in purple chest, by the way.
Yeah, lamp lamp is one of those items where if I don't have fire rod or lamp, I'll look for it. But if I have fire rod, then lamp just doesn't matter to me. Like I prefer to have it when I can, but I'm comfortable enough with most dark rooms. Like I've got strats for most of them, so that if I don't have lamp, I'm like, forget it. And like, I also have a setup for torch glitch in the Ganon fight, which thankfully I got.
Yeah,
that would have been that would have been a disaster if I had missed that for Master Sword Silverless, but it managed to work.
Yeah, for sure. Mainly the reason I bring that up is in addition to having Turtle Rock progression in Turtle Rock, but it was also a sequence break of the logic too. So that was how much of a gamble that was to even consider that. And then just having Fighter Sword on top of that, that was insane. That's all I have to say. That was insane.
I mean, I figured half magic and fire rod was good enough, but the multiple deaths in there kind of said otherwise. Those pokies, God, the snipe.
Yeah.
I'm used to both of that, like all of them, like burning up, but I'm not used to like the last section bouncing around like that.
All right, so I know I'm not going to pressure you guys because I know everyone in this chat wants to know when the next Game 3 is. But guys, stay tuned to the Speed Gaming Network. It will be up on the schedule eventually. I'm not going to try to get these two to schedule it right here and now, but if you did, I would love you forever. Anyway.
I just need to check my work schedule really quick. Hey g3rd0, is your availability still the same throughout the weekend and stuff?
Yes.
Just one sec. Are you free like Friday around like 1 o'clock Eastern?
Friday, yes, that should work.
Okay.
Do it later. Do it later. I want to watch it. No, okay. If that's what you guys want to do, it's fine.
Friday at 1 Eastern would probably work best for me. It would give me
Yeah,
some time
that should
before
work.
Alrighty. You heard it here first, folks.
Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern. g3rd0, Cransoon, the final reckoning. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. There's some Super Mario tournaments coming up here on Speed Gaming. If you're into Super Mario, stick around. Again, thank you. Cransoon, g3rd0, if you guys have not followed these two, absolutely, what are you doing with your life? Give them a like and a follow. Also, shout out to Feasel, our wonderful restreamer, Dude, the world's best tracker on the face of the planet, and of course, my co-host, Slim Kirby.
Thank you very much, and thank you as well, Vatasia, for commentating this with me. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, we don't have any more randomizer for this tournament on the schedule for today. There will be a main tournament match tomorrow, though, at 2 p.m. Eastern between Christos Owen and AJ Neb 174. Also in another amazing match. These were the two finalists of the last tournament, so you're not going to want to miss that. So definitely check that out tomorrow. And, of course, a lot of stuff going on. There's the Link to the Past Randomizer dailies, which happen every day at 2 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. So there's a lot of randomizer going on, even outside of this tournament. So if you want to check that out, check the Speed Gaming schedule and check out more of the races going on. But that is all I have to say. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this race. This was amazing. And stay tuned for Friday for the epic Game 3. You guys will not want to miss that.
Yep, I might take off work just to be able to come see that. So thank you. Thank you again, Cransoon, g3rd0, everyone else at Speed Gaming. My name's Vatasia.
I'm Slim Kirby, and we'll see you guys later.